an aircraft vulnerability in your package?
My goal was that one guy could do it in 10 minutes. And I figured it'd take a lot longer to talk to the airport manager to open this gate. Keep in mind, it's extremely important for you to put long, high aspect ratio wings on it, and for you to have a load span loading if you're going to have an airplane that can fly over the Rockies. Okay? You can't just push a button and have those wings turn. And I had no interest in electric motors moving wings around. You know, I figured that if you have the gumption to fly and you're going to save hours, not minutes, so what if it takes 10 minutes to convert? If you're going to go and fly a 500-mile deal at 170 miles an hour, compared to driving with traffic, how much time do you save? And why is it then important to change in 1 minute versus 10 minutes? Another thing about doing it manually is you feel all the fits. You know if there's something wrong when you change back to it. Okay, next question. Yes.
What's it like to land this airplane?
I never have done it. Anybody here that's landed a BiPod? No, there's 3 guys that have done that. I don't know if any of them are here. What's it like to land it? Well, I watched it from a car. It looked like kind of like landing a long easy, except you're a lot lower. It has the same ground clearance as a Corvette. It has the same ground clearance as an EV1. And the neat thing about it is it doesn't have a longeron in the cockpit like a long easy. It has it only on the inboard side. The outboard side, if you notice from the picture, it doesn't show up here. It's cut down so you can stand on the ground and step into it with a 23-inch step. You do this and you're standing in the seat. Okay? You know, while we were building it, we had it up at height to work on it, a little higher than a long easy sit. But when we put it on the ground, my God, it disappeared. The top of the canopy is that far off the ground. If you have a big wheelbase and a big wheel track, and you have a real low CG, you've got a better car. Right? Way in the back.
I do. I might have missed this. Did you put 2 motors on each prop?
On the early sketches where you saw a bigger single propeller in the middle and a bigger nacelle, that was 2 of the small motors and a belt drive. Okay? So we don't believe that that's the thing to do now. We believe the best thing to do is to put 35 or 40 horsepower motors in 2 places on the tail, and you've got a single motor driving a 4-bladed prop to get the disc loading adequate.
Okay. Second question is, did you look at, I don't know if you managed this, but being able to vector the thrust a little bit by changing the...
You don't need to. You can vector the thrust by moving the stick back and forth. And you already have to have that for other reasons. Now that would be a solution to the problem of not enough complexity. Something that is good for an airplane designer to solve all the time. Anybody else with the mic? If not, holler.
What's next for Burt Rutan?
What's next for Burt Rutan? Well, I'll tell you, I made big changes, enormous changes. I still got sideburns, but I don't wear denim anymore, and I don't do CAD on Sunday nights till midnight. And when I wake up, I see a beautiful lake, and I really love what I'm doing now. But for 45 years, that's Air Force, you know, for about 36 years, you've probably learned by now that you don't see what I do until it flies. Now, I've been involved with RAF and scale doing, a new type on the average of one a year since 1973. You think I can stop that? I don't know the answer to that. I don't know. I'm not going to tell you what I've done the last 3 months. I'm really not. I've done some cool things. They do have air shows up there, beautiful model airplane flying fields. I don't know how they do as much as they do with such a short season, because it's up, you know, the 6 months out of the year is too cold to go outside, pretty much. At least for a guy from Mojave. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I'll tell you one thing. I only moved 3 pieces of furniture up there. I left the pyramid furniture in my pyramid, and it's leased by one of the scale engineers now. But one of the pieces of furniture I moved was my drafting board.
Burt, what do you think about adding a hybrid electric design to an existing single-engine airplane just for emergency landings and that sort of thing?
Well, it makes almost no sense to do so, to throw away at least 20, maybe 35% of efficiency, right? Or energy, you know. However, taking a normal airplane, whether it's a Cessna or whether it's a Long-Easy, and strapping on a little pack that has a folded propeller that spins up and, you know, like the model airplane guys want, you can buy them off the shelf, with a little Carnegie-like motor in it. And to be able to push a button and make some thrust for maybe 30 seconds, from the standpoint of safety, that might make sense to do it on a single-engine airplane. Might make almost as much sense as reaching up here and pulling a handle and going on a parachute. I have designed things like that, but I'll let somebody else market it. Yeah.
In car mode, what type of air conditioning system is it?
Hey, when you do a program in 4 months, you leave out some stuff. Actually, both cockpits have ventilation. I forgot where they are. They're up like a Long-Easy, aren't they, Tim? Ventilation for the cockpit? I forgot. Where are they? Oh, excuse me. They're on the side. They're right where you don't get exhaust. Oh, no, you're wrong. Back before he did his tests on the batteries, we heard these horror stories about if the batteries go really wrong, they'll put out such toxic smoke that it'll kill you and drive you out of a small room. Okay? So I went, by the way, the front of the wing, which is a place to give her the lunch or to shake her hand, you can't quite reach the good parts of it. In front of that is a hole this big around, or it's shaped like a leading edge. It's that big, okay? And in that hole, the only thing we have is power wiring. Wiring that goes back and forth for the electric propulsion system, and so the throttles can run both sides, right? So what I did is I put a ramp air inlet at butt line 0 to pressurize that chamber. And if you sit in the airplane, that thing is right here, and it's a little deflector to go right on your face. So that is the ventilation system. And I wanted to make it so anything really bad can happen in the battery area. By the way, where the batteries are is forward of what looks like a firewall, and suspension and so on is steel. So you could have some big fire up there and it doesn't hurt you structurally.
But
Just wondering why aerodynamically you've got the spars facing forward in the travel mode. You say you've got your spar stubs when you're on the road.
Okay, first of all, the drag's about the same if I turn the wings around. And also, if I turn the wings around, it gives me an undesirable wheel weight distribution because the weight is further out. And I wanted to keep as much weight as I could on the nose wheels for the car mode, and that's the reason that we put them here. Also, those plug-in spars, they go right to the point where those nose suspension firewalls are, and it's a real convenient place to hook up the wing. Well, you're going to build one too.
Burt, over here. I was wondering if you've been working with DMV yet, and the lighting and the airbag and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I have been working with DMV. It used to be where I spent most of my life. If you go to DMV, you're in there all day, standing in line, and the person behind the counter doesn't care whether you're spending all day. And for some reason, where I live now, the person down there wants to be helpful for you and doesn't want you to spend time. The time and I went in to register our car, they told me how much it would cost to register, and I said, is that per month? I said, no, it's $40 per year. And I said, well, can I buy 10 years? I said, no, but we'll let you buy 2 years. And 12 minutes from the time that I walked in there, we walked out with license plate in our hand and a registration to put in the car. And I'm thinking, what a country. So that's what I've been doing with DMV. Next question.
What kind of lessons were you hoping to
Use the mic so we get it on tape. Yeah, presentation there.
I was just wondering why you decided to go with 2 propellers on the back rather than just the 1.
To go with what?
Why you decided to go with 2 propellers on the back rather than just the 1?
Okay, if you put 1 on there, you hit the propeller when you rotate. And also, I wanted to have redundancy in the propeller. If you kick up a big rock and ruin a prop, you're dead on propulsion. And there's no reason to have 2 gas engines and electric go-around propulsion capability if one single failure takes away all your thrust. So the reason to have at least 2 propellers is safety redundancy. I want to be able to go around if I trash the propeller. So that's why we got 2.
I'm interested in the final lasting lessons that you were hoping to teach your team that they hadn't already acquired through your mentoring at scale.
I already told them the 2 things they need to know. 1 is have fun. Because if you're having fun, you'll do better work. You might as well be doing something else if you're not having fun. And 2, don't stay in the hobby more than 44 years.